Have you ever gone in for a routine medical test, thinking it would give you peace of mind, only to walk out with more anxiety, more appointments, more confusion, and maybe even more harm than help? If you're over the age of 70, this might be happening more often than you realize. And here's the surprising part: some of the health checkups we've been told are absolutely necessary when we're younger can become unnecessary, risky, or downright harmful as we get older. Today, I want to talk to you about 5 specific checkups you may actually want to avoid after turning 70, not because your health doesn't matter, but because your health matters too much to waste time, energy, and stress on tests that may not benefit you anymore. And trust me, some of these might shock you, because they challenge everything we've been taught about staying healthy. And now, before I go any further, let me be super clear. I'm not saying ignore your doctor, and I'm definitely not saying stop paying attention to your health. What I am saying is that your health is personal, your body is unique, and the medical world doesn't always update its advice as fast as we age. What used to help us at 50 doesn't always help us at 70. And the last thing I want is for you or someone you love to go through stressful tests, risky procedures, or unnecessary treatments that don't actually make life better. So let's talk. Imagine this: you walk into your doctor's office feeling fine. Maybe a little stiff, maybe a little tired, but overall doing well for your age. The doctor suggests a test, something routine, something you've done before. You agree, because that's what you've always done. A few days later, you get the call. Something looks a little unusual. Now you're going back for more tests. Then more. Maybe a biopsy. Maybe a scan. Maybe a procedure. Suddenly, what started as a simple checkup becomes a cascade of interventions, all based on something that might never have harmed you in the first place. This is a real problem, and it happens far more often than people think, especially after 70. What I want for you is something different. I want you to understand your body. I want you to understand the difference between tests that matter and tests that don't. I want you to feel confident, empowered, and informed. And I want you to know that sometimes the healthiest choice is actually not to do something. So let's dive into the first checkup on our list, and this one surprises a lot of people because we've heard about it for decades as something absolutely essential. But after 70, that's not always the case. I'm talking about routine cancer screenings that look for slow-growing cancers, especially prostate cancer tests for men and certain thyroid or breast screenings for both men and women. Now again, I am not saying cancer screening is bad. What I am saying is that not all cancers behave the same way. Some grow fast and aggressively. Those are the ones you absolutely want to catch early. But others grow so slowly that you will never feel them, never be harmed by them, and never need treatment for them. And after 70, the chances of discovering a slow, harmless cancer actually go up. The problem? The moment something shows up on a scan, many doctors feel obligated to treat it even if it was never going to harm you. Imagine having surgery, radiation, or strong medications for something that was never a threat. Imagine the side effects. The recovery time. The stress. The physical strain on your body. Many seniors who go through treatment for slow-growing cancers end up dealing with more complications than benefits. That's why doctors today are rethinking some types of screenings once you hit 70. For many people, the risk of treatment is greater than the risk of the cancer itself. And if you're sitting there thinking, wait, so I might go through all that for nothing, you're not alone. That's why understanding your personal health history, your actual risks, and the behavior of different cancers becomes so important as we age. Now let's move to something that affects millions of people: heart stress tests for low-risk seniors. If you've never had heart symptoms, no chest pain, no unexplained shortness of breath, no dizziness, yet your doctor wants you to do a stress test just to check, that test may be unnecessary. And more importantly, it may send you down a path of additional procedures that carry real risks for older adults. Stress tests are designed to find blockages, but they're not perfect. They can show false positives, meaning the test looks like something might be wrong when nothing actually is. As you get older, your arteries naturally stiffen a little, your heart rate changes, and your exercise tolerance shifts. None of that means you're in danger. But the machine doesn't always know how to interpret age-related changes. So what happens? You get sent for a follow-up. Then maybe for a cardiac catheterization. Then maybe for a stent or a procedure you never needed. Meanwhile, you had no symptoms and felt just fine before the test. This is what doctors call overtesting, and it's a growing issue for seniors. Your goal isn't to have the heart of a 30-year-old. Your goal is to have a heart that supports your lifestyle, your activities, and your quality of life. If you aren't experiencing symptoms, routine stress tests may do more harm than good. What actually helps? Staying active. Walking daily. Managing your blood pressure. Eating well. And paying attention to how you feel, not to what a machine says you might feel someday. The third checkup to reconsider after 70 is the full body scan, something that became popular because people wanted peace of mind. I get it. Who wouldn't want to see everything inside their body in one big scan? It sounds like a shortcut to health. But here's the truth, these full body scans pick up all sorts of tiny, harmless abnormalities, spots on the lungs, small cysts, tiny nodules, calcium deposits. Most of these things are normal signs of aging. They aren't dangerous. They aren't harmful. They don't need treatment. But once the scan finds them, you can't unsee them. Suddenly you're going for more scans, more biopsies, more procedures. And now instead of living your life, you're living in medical offices. Many health experts now advise against full body scans for people of any age, but especially for seniors, because the risk of unnecessary follow-ups is so high. Peace of mind doesn't come from scanning every inch of your body. It comes from listening to your body, maintaining healthy habits, managing stress, and building a lifestyle that supports longevity. Now let's talk about checkup number 4, and this one might surprise you: aggressive bone density testing for certain elders who aren't at high risk for fractures. Now, osteoporosis is real, and it does matter. But here's the thing, bone density naturally decreases with age. It's part of being human. Bone density tests can sometimes create fear that leads to overmedication. And the medications used for osteoporosis, while helpful for some people, can cause side effects like digestive issues, joint pain, and in rare cases serious complications. If you're someone who hasn't had fractures, who lives an active lifestyle, who eats well, and whose overall risk is not high, repeating bone density tests over and over again might not benefit you. A better approach might be to focus on strength training, balance exercises, vitamin D, calcium, and fall prevention strategies. Your bones respond to movement far more than they respond to repeated scanning. Finally, let's talk about the 5th checkup to avoid after 70, routine colonoscopies in people with no symptoms and a history of normal results. Colonoscopies are incredibly important earlier in life. They save lives. They detect issues before they become serious. But after 70, especially if your past tests have always been clear, the risks begin to outweigh the benefits. The preparation alone can be hard on an older body. The dehydration, the strain, the changes in electrolytes, even the anesthesia can create problems. And if your previous screenings were normal, the chance of suddenly developing a fast-growing colon cancer is extremely low. Many doctors now recommend stopping routine colonoscopies somewhere between 70 and 75 for average-risk individuals. But most seniors don't know that. They keep going because they think they have to. You don't. Not anymore. The science is shifting, and your approach can shift with it. Now that we've talked about the 5 major checkups to reconsider, let's go deeper into something even more important: your relationship with your own health. Because here's the truth, you are not a number. You are not a statistic. You are not a test result. You are a human being with experiences, habits, strengths, weaknesses, fears, and goals. Healthcare should support your quality of life, not interrupt it. And as you age, the definition of good health changes. When you were younger, it was about prevention. But after 70, it becomes more about living well. Comfort. Strength. Energy. Joy. Mobility. Peace of mind. Time with the people you love. Let me tell you something a geriatric specialist once told me, something that has stuck with me ever since. She said, when you're young, screening is about preventing disease. When you're older, screening is about preventing unnecessary treatment. That right there is the key. Older adults are often more harmed by overtreatment than undertreatment. Your body is strong, wise, and capable, but it also deserves gentler, more thoughtful care. Now maybe you're thinking, okay, so if I shouldn't get these checkups, what should I focus on instead? And that is a great question, because good health after 70 is not about doing more, it's about doing the right things. It's about things like maintaining muscle, because muscle is the #1 predictor of healthy aging. It's about keeping your balance strong so you avoid falls. It's about staying flexible, staying hydrated, getting good sleep, managing stress, eating nourishing foods, and connecting with people you care about. It's about moving your body every day, even if it's just a slow walk around the block, but it's also about knowing when to say no to tests that won't change your life. No to procedures you don't need. No to stress disguised as medical advice. No to fear. Fear is one of the biggest reasons people agree to unnecessary medical tests. They're afraid of missing something. Afraid of getting sick. Afraid of what might happen. But fear isn't a health plan. Knowledge is. Confidence is. Awareness is. So the next time your doctor suggests a test, ask this simple question: how will this test change my treatment or improve my quality of life? If the answer is unclear, you might not need the test. Another good question is, what are the risks of doing this test? Because every test, every single one, has risks. Even the ones that sound harmless. And as we get older, those risks matter more, and now let me talk to you directly, one-on-one. If you're watching this, it means you care about your health. It means you want to stay active, stay vibrant, stay independent, and stay in control of your choices. And that is already half the battle. The other half is understanding that your health decisions should support your life, not interfere with it. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to decline tests. You are allowed to choose quality of life over unnecessary medical intervention. You are allowed to trust your instincts, but you're also allowed to take action in ways that truly support your body. You can start strength training in small ways. Even light resistance bands can make a huge difference. You can practice deep breathing, which supports your heart, your lungs, and your stress levels. You can stay social, because loneliness is more dangerous than almost any disease. You can laugh more, move more, drink more water, get more sunlight, stretch your joints, nourish your mind, and protect your peace. Sometimes the best checkup is the one you do yourself. Asking, how do I feel today? Asking, what do I need right now? Asking, am I living the life I want to live? And sometimes the best treatment is as simple as taking a walk, calling a friend, or improving your sleep routine. If you want to live your healthiest life after 70, here's the secret: focus less on chasing diseases that may never appear and focus more on creating a lifestyle that supports your energy, your mobility, your strength, and your happiness. Your health is a long story, and you are the author, not the test results, not the machines, not the routine checkups that no longer serve you. You've spent your entire life caring for others, showing up for others, working, building, supporting, giving. Now it's your time. Your time to prioritize yourself. Your time to choose what truly matters. Your time to live with joy and confidence, not fear and stress. So the next time someone tells you that getting older means getting weaker, getting slower, or fading away, I want you to remember something: aging is not a decline, it is a refinement. You don't lose your value with age. You gain wisdom. You gain clarity. You gain perspective. And now you can gain control over your health decisions. 2. If this video gave you something to think about, something that made you feel more empowered or more informed, I want you to take one small step today. Not a big one. Just one small change that supports your well-being. Maybe that's drinking more water. Maybe it's taking a 5-minute walk. Maybe it's doing 5 gentle squats by your chair. Maybe it's calling your doctor and asking questions you've been too nervous to ask. Whatever it is, choose something simple. Something doable. Something kind to your body, because your health after 70 isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about self-respect. It's about a gentle, steady commitment to feeling good in your own skin. And that starts right now. But if you found this valuable, I'd love for you to stay connected. There's so much more. We're going to talk about mobility, longevity, senior fitness, nutrition for aging, mental sharpness, balance, sleep, and real day-to-day strategies for staying strong. And trust me, you are capable of so much more than you think. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of yourself. Be kind to your body. Make choices that support your happiness. And I'll see you in the next video.